set, go.
It's November 14th, 2024, Thursday. I'm with Mr. John Jeckovich from Studio 6L, and we're discussing his book called Their Mother's Sons. Mr. Jeckovich wrote this book over 25 years ago. It takes him from the age 11 to his retirement, and it's primarily about his life, taking care of his mother to the end, himself getting into the service, getting engaged, getting married, his job, his family, etc. What gave you the idea to write this book, Mr. Jeckovich?
Gave me the idea?
Yeah.
It's an autobiography of life.
I see. And how long did it take you to write this approximate 900-page book?
About a month.
That was quick. That was quick. What's your dog tag number, Mr. Jeckovich?
4209295.
Okay, that'll open it up. Mr. Jeckovich was in World War II, highly decorated with 2 Bronze Stars and a Purple Heart. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion, the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. When you went into the Army during World War II, were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted.
I see. And why didn't you enlist?
I held off as long as I could because I depended on my brother.
I see, that makes sense, because your father died at an early age.
43.
43,
so
yeah.
yeah.
The sole provider for your father.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I see you got new clothes on again today.
What new clothes?
Every day it's something.
I got these stupid pants up for a week.
New sweaters, specially pants, new shoes.
Yeah.
You're looking very good, Mr. Jeckovich. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. That's not an easy task to do. In fact, if you're 40 years old, listen to this today, you have about a 40% chance. Excuse me, I'm wrong. If you're 40 years old today, you have less than a 10% chance to make it to 100. It's not an easy task to do. It's a great feat. Mr. Jeckovich is nicknamed a super soldier. He's been shot up, beat up, stabbed, bombed, trench foot, frostbite, you name it. It's happened to him. Yet he's in fine health. He can read the newspaper with no glasses. He's got a strong grip. He'll knock you to the ground if he tries to shake your hand. And also, Mr. Jeckovich is for jogging for 80 years. His knees blow out. So that's the only problem he has, so that's a good trade. So it's an interesting story. When Mr. Jeckovich started jogging, it was not fashionable. People thought you were an oddball if you jogged, and many people yelled derogatory things at Mr. Jeckovich when he jogged down the street. What kind of things did they say to you?
Get off the streets, you bum.
Yeah. And what kind of things they throw at you?
Cans of beer, full cans of pop and everything else.
So the people back then weren't educated what a great benefit jogging is. And for example, on the way to the studio today, I see joggers on every corner.
Oh yeah, all dressed up.
I see people in very fancy and expensive jogging outfits, matching gloves and hats and lights and water bottles and flashing sneakers. They're very, very fancy and expensive. Did you wear equipment like that, Mr. Jeckovich?
I wore corduroy pants, wore out sneakers, and a t-shirt.
Right. As time went on, when jogging became the so-called in thing and acceptable, did you convert over to getting dressed up in these bright colors?
No, I stayed right where I was
Stay
at.
right where you got from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you have a water bottle?
Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, so they pretty much went overboard today. There's a lot of joggers.
Yeah.
But they're making a great fashion statement. Mr. Jeckovich never made a fashion statement. How about when you worked at Clark for 35 years? How did you get there?
Why?
How did you get to
Walked.
for 35 years? You walked?
Yeah.
What would you do during a snowstorm?
Walk.
What would you do during a rainstorm?
Walk.
You just walk right in the rain or the snow?
No.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, I never took the car.
So the tires of your vehicle for over 35 years never made it to the parking lot of Kimberly Clark?
No.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Well, did many other World War II vets working at Kimberly Clark do the same thing?
There was some. Yeah, they all drove because they lived in top North Wanda. They lived in Buffalo. They had a long way to go.
Quite a distance.
Yeah.
You weren't that far.
Yeah, no. I got what, 20-minute walk.
You weren't that far. I noticed that you work shift work. Many people never heard of shift work before. Could you explain to us what shift work exactly is?
Shift workers work at three different shifts: morning, afternoons, and midnight.
What did you think of shift work?
Terrible.
What was the biggest problem with it?
Well, it was a process. I worked for a process machine that they operated 24 hours a day.
I see.
So they needed people 24 hours a day. So there's where the shift work came in.
What did most of the workers do once they get off of work at their shift?
Go to that red spot across the street.
What was a red spot?
Small tavern.
Did you go there with them?
No.
Where you worked at, did they have softball teams?
They had a softball team. They had a basketball team. Yeah, didn't amount to much.
Bowling leagues?
Yeah, bowling league was big.
Was that big?
Yeah.
Were you on the bowling team?
No.
Did they have fancy uniforms?
No, I don't. Oh, they had shirts, just a shirt.
And were some guys praised greatly because they're better bowlers than others?
Oh yeah, they think they were. If they were good, you were a big hero.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dixie Davis.
What was the name?
Dixie Davis.
What did Dixie Davis do?
Well, he was a good bowler.
And so they thought he was the hero of the plant?
Yeah. Dixie Davis. He's a big hero.
Ironic story, Mr. Jeckovich came from the coldest winter of record at the Battle of Bulge, 20 and 30 below. And once he took this job at Kimberly Clark, the temperatures were in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So you went to frigid?
Pardon?
You went from frigid at the Battle of Bulge in Germany to well over 100 to work at.
Yeah.
What'd you work in, a T-shirt?
A T-shirt?
Yeah, at Kimberly Clark?
T-shirt, yeah.
I see. That's interesting, yeah. And besides working at Kimberly Clark, where else did you work?
Well, I had a couple. I had a business.
What was it?
What the hell was it? What was the name of it?
Duplex Giant Wash?
Yeah, Duplex Giant Wash. Yeah.
And what exactly did you do there?
I had 16 washers and 20 dryers. People would come in and use them because
Were they nice
I had put it in a neighborhood where they couldn't afford a washer.
Were they nice people?
Best people in the world.
I like to hear that. They were solid.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't have any money, they respected things.
Yeah, they're respectable.
How would a laundromat, would you open a laundromat today?
Huh?
Would you open a laundromat today?
No.
Is it because people...
That laundromat was unattended. It was open 24 hours a day. The door never shut, the lights never went
Because
off.
people have changed? Is that why...
Oh, the culture changed. Yeah, the culture changed. Just rob you blind now.
They would rob you blind?
Or they'll sue you.
Yeah, or they'd sue you.
Yeah.
For the smallest infractions, they would sue you. So today wouldn't be a good climate to open up a laundromat.
No.
We'd go broke.
I wouldn't do it. It's different
But
culture.
back then, the people appreciated you putting a service in. They appreciated you kept the Duplex Giant Wash laundromat spotless. And they knew they could always count on you when they went there. They had nice machines.
Yeah.
And now do you think they would appreciate it?
Pardon?
Today, do you think people today would appreciate that effort you put in?
No.
Besides working at Kimberly Clark and Duplex Giant Wash, where else did you work?
Well, I did some of the work myself. I laid wallpaper. I never did wallpaper before, but I started learning how to put wallpaper up. And I did a lot of odd job, carpentry jobs, electrical jobs.
How about snow plowing?
I had my international four-wheel driver. I used a snow plow with a Myers plow.
And you got Myers plow, and I bet you that plow is still out there today. Those Myers plows are really a wonderful piece of equipment. And they'll last 100 years.
If you don't abuse them, yeah.
Yeah. And what did you actually plow? What kind of places did you plow?
First thing I get up at 5 o'clock, I plow the alley. Up and down, go all the way around our block.
So you did a public service in your neighborhood so people could get out.
And they were pissing more about it.
Why were they pissing more?
Because I leave the furrow, when I plow, you gotta leave a furrow someplace. I can't put it in the truck.
It's a fact. It's got to be a furrow.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away from it.
No. And so you put your snow right in front of my driveway.
I don't believe it. And they were complaining you're plowing for free.
Yeah.
As a public service.
And at 10 o'clock in the morning, that alley was dry. There was no snow or ruts or ice or nothing on it.
So they had the nerve to come up to you and tell you that you plowed for free, that something wasn't right.
Yeah. You put the furrow right in front of my garage.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Because the city plow never would have came down that alley.
No, they never come down. They very seldom come down the street.
Very seldom come down the street. Do you remember who some of the major complainers were?
The pine was one on the corner. She pissed them more about everything.
Oh yeah.
I tried to put the snow in the creek, and I almost got that damn truck in the creek once a couple of times.
No kidding. So you crossed over the curb and you ended up on the grass?
I went down the slope. I should have gone down the slope. And I had four-wheel drive on, but I almost went in the creek.
How'd you get out? Were you stuck?
I put it in reverse, turned it cold, dove it back slowly.
You were very lucky. Because if you would have ended up in a creek, that truck would have been gone.
Yeah.
What was the name of that creek?
Jill Creek.
Didn't you have one of your other cars end up in a creek?
That was, Looky was driving.
And what did he do?
And he was speeding around the curve on East Falls Street, and he couldn't make the curve, and he skidded into the field and into the creek. He dumped the car in the creek, and then he went next door to his girlfriend's house, and he stayed there, and I'm looking all over him, and I walked in the water that afternoon in the creek looking for him. I thought he was in the car.
He wasn't in the car?
In the car.
Wow.
He was over his girlfriend's mother's house.
Were you able to get the car ever running again?
No, it was gone.
Gone. Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Took him a whole day to get it out.
When you were a little boy, did you ice skate on Jill Creek?
I was frozen, yeah.
What was your memory when you first heard about December 7th, 1941?
That was Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon.
What happened?
That was Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. And where were you then?
I was on a creek ice skating Sunday afternoon.
16 minutes.
Huh?
16.
And what happened then? You went right home when you heard about
I went all the way down to Pine Avenue and turned around and come back. And my mother said, "Well, they got a problem now. They got problems with the government now."
And so
Pearl Harbor, yeah.
Your mother said you're in trouble because you're
Yeah.
in, right?
Then they started the draft again.
Was your brothers drafted? Was your brothers drafted?
With what?
Were your two brothers drafted, or did they enlist?
No, Stevie was exempt for was in school. Looky was he listened to the Coast Guard. He stayed right in Honolulu the whole time.
So you're the only one out of the family that was on the front line.
Yeah.
You're the only one in the family that was on the front line. Didn't you say your oldest brother stayed in the States and he was teaching new recruits how to drive a Jeep?
That was later.
Wow. So you're the only member of the family that was on the front line.
Went overseas, yeah.
When you first got drafted, did you think you were going to the Pacific?
No, I hoped I wouldn't go to the Pacific. I didn't want to go to the Pacific.
Yeah. When you first got drafted, what were you being trained for?
I was trained to fly a B-17.
And then what happened?
Well, they say we got too many flyers, but they don't have enough, not enough 33s, which is ground truth. So they took me out of the ride that truck, that plane, took me back in the service.
When you say there wasn't enough 33s, that's the code word for teenagers.
Yeah.
Young kids.
Yeah, 19 years old.
19.
Combat age.
Combat age.
Yeah.
Did you notice the difference when you're on the front line fighting for many years between, let's just say, a 19-year-old fighter and a 25-year-old fighter?
25-year fighter could never put up. They either had heart attacks, or they got sick, or they got pulled out.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize 19 is actually the fighting age. People say, well, hell, I'm young and I'm in shape at 25, but once you get on that front line, you could really feel the difference between 19, energetic, ready to go, and a 25.
Well, they were starting to weed them out after a while, yeah.
Yeah, so they want all 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And also an interesting fact of this war, many kids, 15, 16, 17, lied about their age because they wanted to support the country. They wanted to support the country. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to support the country. Mr. Jeckovich was shot up, beat up, stabbed, bombed. He spent several months at a hospital in Paris and bandaged him up. He had a bullet in his shoulder, shrapnel in his leg, which they cut out.
Yeah.
Trench foot, frostbite.
I got the frostbite yet.
But they said, yeah. But they said to him, soldier, if your index finger could work to squeeze that machine gun
fit for duty.
And you're able to walk, you're what?
Fit for duty.
Fit for duty.
Fit for duty, yep. Fit for duty, yeah.
Today, if you were shot up and bombed and had frostbite and trench foot, you would never see a war again. You'd never see the front line. But they desperately needed these kids, and they're sending them over no matter what the conditions. And many of these kids weren't street smart. If you weren't street smart, you didn't last. What happened to a person that was book
Well, Lip was a good example. Lip came from a cultured family. Our mother were lawyers.
Yeah.
He was going to law school, but they pulled him out.
Yeah. See, he was book smart, but he wasn't street smart.
No. I watched him like a father.
Yeah.
But then in the end, I lost him anyway.
See, now the problem is this. If you're not street smart, if you're not a fighter on that front line, you won't make it.
Yeah.
Like the life. Mr. Jeckovich was a street person. So he was a fighter. He made it. He survived, luckily. But when that war was winding down, two things were happening. The guys that made it alive through the war were all saying, I got to be on my extra guard now because there's still a lot of German snipers in the trees and they're going to take pot shots at me. But they said that I don't want to go through all this and the war is winding down and get shot by a rogue bullet.
Yeah.
And the second problem was when the European theater was winding down, all the young kids were very, very worried because they needed more soldiers at the Pacific. They don't go, well, we made it through here. Now we can't be shipped to the Pacific. But that didn't happen in your case.
No.
But they definitely needed people in the Pacific.
Well, that was Pacific was Marines. Marines went to Pacific.
But there's possibility that they would have sent because they were.
Oh yeah, where they need them, they put you.
Okay. Tim.
Would you rather been in the European theater or the Pacific?
What?
During World War II, would you rather been in the Pacific or Europe?
Europe, yeah.
Why?
Europe was more civilized. Pacific was crazy. The Japanese dig holes, they're small enough, they call them a hole.
And then you'd have to climb in and get them.
No, you burn them up, put a blowtorch in there, or flamethrower, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, 15 years after the war, there's still some Japanese fighting soldiers that were still in the woods, thinking the war was still on.
They're hiding, yeah. A lot of the Japanese didn't want to go back home.
No.
They didn't want to go back home.
No. That's amazing.
They married over here, they had farms over here and everything else.
Yeah.
Some of them, I didn't do none of that.
World War II was absolutely devastating. We had 15,400,000 men and women, young men and women under 20, participating in the war. We lost 14,500,000. We have less than 100,000 left today, and out of that's mostly rear echelon. But what we mostly, rear echelon is the majority. But of the fighting people like Mr. Jeckovich, we have less than 6,000, because most of those guys are late 90s or early hundreds, and we're losing them at a rate of 150 a day.
Yeah.
So do the math. Here's a real guy right in front of you. Take a look on your TV screen. Take a look. If you want to ask a real World War II vet while there's still time, text Mr. Jeckovich. Text him at 407-366-0000. Text Mr. Jeckovich any questions you might have. He answers all of them. He looks forward to your questions at 407-366-0000. And how we say it on the beautiful island of Hay Point to Fusky Island, South Carolina, we say text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. And Mr. Jeckovich will respond to all your questions. We've had many questions pertaining to the type of weapons Mr. Jeckovich used and about his longevity, but you can still ask them, he'll answer them. But anything unique that you want to add, please do. And good or bad, Mr. Jeckovich would respond to your questions. Today we're on chapter 20, and we're reading about Mr. Jeckovich being engaged to Delphine Stulac. Delphine Stulac, he met at the Delwood Ballroom. And what city was that in?
Buffalo,
New York, Main Street. On the second floor. And they dated for about a year. And Mr. Jeckovich had some obstacles at that point. Delphine had two of her girlfriends that would always tag along, and Mr. Jeckovich could never be alone with her. So how did you manage to have the two friends of Delphine go their separate ways?
Agnes and Rosalie?
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, I told Delphine we got to work it out, so we'll go places that they're not accustomed to or they want to go to.
And so that's how you kind of...
Yeah, we didn't go to any rummy places, but we didn't go to the shows, the theaters, the museums, and all that stuff.
Was Delphine cooperative with that?
Oh yeah.
So she had no problem.
Well, she didn't want Agnes and Rosalie tagging around with us all the time. Agnes was leaving because Agnes understood because she was older.
Yeah.
But Rosalie was a fruitcake.
Why do you say she was a fruitcake?
Well, she was a young Jewish girl coming from a good family.
I see.
She could think she could do anything she wanted to.
So now if you fast forward for about a year, Mr. Jeckovich and Delphine Stulac are hitting it off beautifully, and they went to all types of parks and recreation centers. And I like the story you told us about how you went to Wildwood one summer and you lost your wallet on the beach. Tell us about that. That's very interesting.
Well, I lost my wallet, probably $150 in my driver's license, my picture, all the stuff that you usually put in the wallet. I looked all over, I couldn't find it.
This is when you're laying on the beach in Wildwood, in Canada.
Yeah.
During the summer, what was it, probably an August day?
August, yeah.
And so you were on the sand. Tell us.
So I gave up on it. We went home, and I almost forgot about it. Then next summer, we said, let's go back and see if we can find the wallet.
I'll be damned.
And she said, well, you'll never find it. Over the winter, the rain come in.
2 feet of snow.
The snow, the water came in and everything. Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
So we went by, and I thought I went to the same spot we sat in last year. And I started kicking my heel like that, and here comes my wallet.
I'll be damned.
It was a little frizzled, but the little frizzled papers were kind of weak to read.
How about your money?
Huh?
Was your money still there?
Yeah, but number 3 was in the sand yet.
I'll be
Yeah, I
damned.
mean, if they saw it, they'd take the money out, yeah.
That's a chance in a million.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you go to Canada a lot?
Huh?
Did you go to Canada a lot with Delphine?
A what?
Did you visit Canada many times with Delphine?
Canada?
Yeah, that's where this took
Yeah,
place.
we went there at the beach, yeah.
It's funny, the American money's still the same now as it was then, 60 years ago, and the Canadians say the same thing, because their money's very colorful. The Canadians always tell the people of the United States, put some color in that money.
Yeah, yeah.
Put some
Oh, they
color.
look like a big bill.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
want to
$10 bill.
Put some color in it. So once you got married, we're still going to stay on the story of Canada. Once you got married, your whole family would go to Canada, correct?
Oh, yeah, when they were younger, or when they're old enough, yeah.
No, I mean, what about your mother?
Well, we took my mother once in a while, but my mother was, well, once you get old, she didn't want to travel.
Okay, but your mother thought the meat was better in Canada.
Well, I took her Saturday morning for the meat over the meat markets over there.
Okay, so when you went there, and did customs charge you a duty?
Charged me bridge duty, and that was it. But when we called back, they asked me, "Are you declared?" And the guy says, "No." And they asked my mother, "Are you declared?" She said, "Well, I just got my new teeth here." And that was they put come inside, please.
So they're even going to tax your mother's teeth.
Yeah, yeah,
They're even going to tax your mother's teeth.
yeah. They taxed her $125.
Oh my gosh. They taxed your mother's teeth.
Yeah,
You know, taxes really never end. I give a little bit of information that people don't know. During World War II, there were shortages of everything, mainly rubber. So if you would buy tires in the United States or something, they created called an excise tax.
yeah,
An excise tax on rubber. Now, if next time you folks buy your tires, 2024 and further, 2025, look at your bills closely. You'll see there's an excise tax on the tires, and that was originated in 1941 and never taken off.
Still on.
Still on.
Yeah.
And to show you more about minutes,
2.5.
and there's another interesting story. So Mr. Jeckovich was taxing his mother's teeth, but the story gets even more ironic and foolish. Mr. Jeckovich was living in Florida at the time, and he went to High Point, North Carolina, because him and his wife Delphine wanted to have a beautiful couch custom made.
Yeah.
The beautiful couch custom made was very expensive, and he had to sit down with the designers and draw out everything they wanted, and it came out really nice. It was a beautiful, beautiful couch, but expensive. And so Mr. Jeckovich, when the couch was done in about 3 months, the builder of the couch says, "Okay, I'm going to come to Florida, Mr. Jeckovich, and deliver it," right?
Yeah.
And what the hell happened then?
The house went to hell.
No, he delivered the couch. He delivered the couch, and when he crossed the state line from Georgia to Florida, they said, "Let me see the receipt for your couch." And
Oh, yeah. We didn't have the receipt.
and then 2 months later, the tax department of Florida, the sales tax department,
Called me up. Yeah.
in Tallahassee, Florida, sends Mr. Jeckovich a certified mean letter. You didn't pay the sales tax on this couch you had made, so you owe X number of dollars, and if you don't pay within this time frame, we'll foreclose on your house.
Yeah, isn't that something?
We went from teeth to 80 years later.
Yeah, he's
A
90
couch.
years old and they're trying to.
Yeah, 90 years old, they're trying to beat him up for a freaking couch.
Yeah. Yeah, they did
It
that,
never
yeah.
ends. The stories are so ridiculous,
Yeah.
but so true. Minutes?
30 seconds.
Were you surprised when you seen that threatening letter?
Oh, yeah.
What did you say?
I said, what the hell did they do? I did squat to it. I declared it, yeah.
Yeah. They went through all the time to write you this letter about getting taxed on a frigging couch.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? 10 seconds.
Yeah, they got my address, where I worked, and everything.
Yeah,
How much money I had in the, they don't know how much money I had in the bank.
no kidding.
Yeah, they so